when I was in Ningbo for the FAI race, Beta FPV gave me their new Meteor 65 SE with the 19,500 kV motors. And today I just want to show you what this quad is, how it flies, what I did to it, just the basic stuff. This quad is around 22.4 grams. Compared to my other whoops, this is my B-Brain Lite with Crossfire and 17mm high motors. This is around 22.1 grams. And then I have my TBS Nano Whoop. This quad is around 17.6 grams, I believe, but it has smaller motors and it's obviously smaller than the other ones. So, Meteor 65, I always want to say 75, I don't know why. It uses the 802 19,500 kV motors. Beta FPV's new-ish, smaller tiny whoop style board that only accepts 1S. I use the DSMX version because I use the IX12. Some kind of new VTX combo, whatever. It's supposed to be lighter than the old stuff. It does 25 milliwatts. The cam is okay. It works. The connector, that's the new thing about this quad, the BT2. It accepts like, I think, double the current of the PH2 connector. It looks like this. It's a little bit heavier than the PH2. Regarding batteries, these are the Beta FPV 300 milliamp 1S. They use obviously the BT2 connector. They are not too good. They don't hold up to many cycles, so I would just use like my LiPos or something. These are the 255 milliamp hours, my LiPos. I have installed the BT2 connector myself. It's a little crooked on this one, but I will show you at the end of the video how to install them on your stick packs, so it doesn't look like super weird. I put on some Gemflin 4 blades because I think they just fly better than 3 blade props. I also flashed the JESC firmware to the ESCs with RPM filtering, and I put on Betaflight 4.1. Did some tuning. I think I put on Mockingbird tune, my rates. I think just stuff that like every pilot would do. Okay, so to modify your batteries, of course you're gonna need the BT2 and your battery. First thing you gotta do is you take some tweezers and then just pry them in between the battery and the plastic housing, just to remove the silicone from the plastic housing. You can jam it in there. You shouldn't bridge anything in theory, at least I hope so. Okay, next up, just take some pliers and then just wiggle like hell. It's gonna take some time. Be gentle. I have ripped some batteries like this, but at some time you should be able to push around and then remove the housing. After you have the housing, it should look like this. And then you just take the battery, and first of all, you try and remove some of the, I think it's silicone or plastic. Remove the silicone and this little plastic piece. Should look like this then. Then next you're gonna try and clean up those pads a little. It will make the rest of the work easier. Be careful, of course. You're working with open packs, open plus minus pads of the battery. Just be careful working on it. Next up, you're gonna bend back the little side pieces. This will also just make it easier to work on the battery. Now we're gonna take the iron, pre-tin a little, and then just push it on the solder pads on the battery, and then just carefully unsolder both leads of the PH2 connector. After we've done that, the battery is almost ready for the BT2 connector, but the connector is a little too big for the housing, just a little. So we need to trim all of the edges down, just like a quarter or half a millimeter. It's not very much, but it will make the fitting of the connector a lot easier. After that, we just tin the pads a little more, just make it easier because the connector is a little, the pins of the connector are a little slimmer than the battery pads, so we need to bridge it with solder. I just align them a little, just make sure they're straight and everything. What I forgot to tell you to show you in the video is that you have to make sure that the rounded side of the connector is on the minus side of the battery. On my LiPos it's very easy. The minus side is, at least for the stick packs, always the side with the black part of the German flag. With other LiPos you just have to check it with a multimeter. When soldering, always be careful, and you see that we have to bridge it a little more into the middle with solder. But this just makes it way easier to work on because we don't need to use any wires or anything. Also, it's a little lighter, I guess. Next, we just bend the sides down, and now we can just take the cap. This cap was a little dirty. Some are dirty, some are not. I think it's just when the battery was produced. Just make sure there's not too much dirt, not too much grime in it. You can try to remove it all, but it's really not worth it. I mean, it's still like tiny wood batteries, they only hold up. They only hold like a few weeks, a few months if you're careful. So now make sure that little pin on the connector, this pin, lines up with the cutout in the canopy. And then you just push it on. Make sure it fits. Just like this. Next thing you gotta do, bend it on a little like this. And then you have to use a heat gun and just fill the cavity as much as you can. That's basically what you have to do. Then after that you have to, or you should, like triple check again that the polarity is correct. And after that you're pretty much good to go.